Hey guys, just going live real quick for another Ableton quick tip here. All right, so I was wondering what was going on here because what I like to do, I collect random sounds sometimes or some sort of audio, and I like to slice it up to a drum rack or slice to Midi as the function goes. And so what I do is I right click on the file, and normally I find my slice to Midi, and all of a sudden in Ableton 10 I didn't see it. All right, and I went around doing some searches and no one's really addressed this, but it's a very simple fix. All right, so if you're not seeing that when you right click on a sample or something that you bring in, what you want to do is double click on the clip, go into the properties, and make sure warp is turned on. Now, when I right click, you'll see that the slice to new MIDI track function is engaged. So now what you can do is you could either slice to MIDI and it will find its own transients, or if you want, you can actually put warp markers where you want the cuts to be. I'm just going to go ahead and right click and slice this over to a new MIDI track. All right, and it's just going to go with the transient. Let's see, would result in 134 slices. That seems like it's too many slices because it can only do 128. So what I might do in this case is maybe I'll just have a smaller section. See, so right here will result in 100 slices, all right? That seems like too many as well, to be perfectly honest. So what might be the best case is to actually do the transient. So in some of these spots where I'm actually seeing stuff, I'll just quickly drop a marker. All right, so now that we've dropped all these transients, now I can come to slice to new MIDI track, and we will do this by warp marker. And now we've only got 68 slices. Hit OK, and here's our slices right here. And you can play it on your QWERTY keyboard or on a controller, whichever you want to do. If you're on a QWERTY keyboard, a cool thing to know is, well, first thing you want to make sure that you turn this on here so that it's receiving, and then you'll see all these. If you hit Z or X, you can go up or down an octave. So, for example, right here, A is jumping right over here. If I go down to Z, as you can see, now I'm at the very beginning here. All right, so that's the way you can kind of navigate to different parts of your cut up samples. All right, now that I got this, I can just I should probably try to turn this up because I'm sure the sounds are pretty low. So I'm just going to drop a audio effect here, and sometimes it helps to have a compressor. So I'm just going to drop a compressor in here and give it a bit of threshold. Somewhat strong ratio here, drop that. The takt time, make it, let's say 5 milliseconds, and release time. That should be fine. Let me turn it up here. And what it does is it automatically maps things as well. That way, if you're creating, like what this does is it creates kind of just a MIDI pattern of all kinds of different sounds. And what I would do is just get rid of this MIDI here, and you could just create your own MIDI and play around with some different sounds just to get a feel for what interesting things you can do. So what I'm going to do here, oftentimes the first slice is silent, which seems to be the case here. Well, actually. That's fine for now. We'll just have this, and we'll loop it. And this way, we can kind of hear what affecting this does to the sound. Now, I've only got my microphone here, so I don't think that this is going to play my audio with much quality, but you still get a fairly good idea. So with that, what I'm going to do is we'll turn up the utility here a bit more. We got a compressor on this. So I've got these individual sounds, and I'll just share with you here. So those are just kind of a loop of these 16 sounds. But what I wanted to play with here was the settings here that you can use once you've done a slice to MIDI, all right? So let me just kind of play with this. And there's not much rhyme or reason, but I just want to show you how much you're able to manipulate sounds. And what you may want to try to do is, while this is playing, you can record to an audio track and just get different sections and loops, you know, play around with it for a few minutes, and then find the little bits that you might want to use as a loop in your track or something like that. Obviously, this rhythm is not very original, just a 16th note sort of thing. So you can obviously do something that seems a bit more original. So let's go ahead and play around. I've got this looped right here. So it's just going to play 8 bars, I think, of, it's basically just 1 bar, you know, so whatever. And here we go. So not only do you have the attack, decay, sustain, and release, but you've got these other parameters here that really make for some interesting sounds. So once again, all of that just came from me goofing around in the kitchen and putting together just a really random MIDI loop here, and then playing with some of the parameters. So like I said, you could do that for a little while and just record what you're doing to audio. And if you're worried about the loop length, like it recording over itself, it actually doesn't record over itself when you record to audio. Here, I'll give you an example here. If I record here, I'm just going to go to resampling, right? And then get ready to record, right? And I'll show you what I'm talking about. so forth. Then you see it looks like, you know, this whole thing is being recorded over and over. However, let me just grab this and drag it. So this, I believe, was the last of the audio. So I just pull this over. As you can see, I can back it all up and get all the audio back from it. All right. And there we go. We've got the whole recorded part. So yeah, experiment with that. Have fun with it. It's really a great way to get some interesting sounds, interesting rhythms, and just a lot of unexpected things that you can do. Instead of trying so hard to craft a certain sound, you could just let experimentation guide you and then cut out the parts that you like. You know, you usually are going to get better or more interesting results by letting randomness be a part of your music making process. Share this around. I like to do these just kind of impromptu, really no rhyme or reason to them except to share ideas as I'm going about my day producing my own music. So there you go. That's something you can experiment with.